Hello everybody, welcome back to another WorldBox video. Today we are battling versus Skull Island. Okay, they all have a second village. They're doing a pretty good job. I did go ahead and add pathways so they can attack each other very quickly, and they can take over each other's villages. So we'll see what happens here. The south is doing a good job. They already got 3 villages down, and they're making good progress on taking over their initial island. Now, I do think the south is at a disadvantage though, because they do not have as much land to start off with. Now the west is also doing a really good job. Their population is just very high. And the west seems to have started off with a lot of land compared to other areas. I did try to add bridges to make it so they can access other areas very quickly, so we'll see what happens. And there we go, the north has got off their initial island and they're over on the middle Skull Island. Now the north has done this because they don't have all that much space on their initial island, but they also don't have that much space in this area over here. They probably got the worst roll of the dice just spawning in the north. The good thing is though, there's lots of resources up here in the north. Some gold, some silver, all those nice sort of things. Now wait just a second. What is the north doing over here? They have a little colony on this bottom left island. They're doing a really good job of, quite frankly, expanding where they shouldn't even be able to, but they're succeeding at it. And that's helped their population to go up way more than it should have been able to.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so I have just been waiting here for hundreds of years and these guys still will not fight. You can see the population differences between them. The south is quite a bit ahead. The west actually ended up being the tiniest population nation. The east also is a little bit ahead and the north is a bit behind. Honestly, I don't think they had as much land as other ones and they did pretty well with what they had. I am just going to make everyone hate everyone. And we can just see the south here going right into the west, taking over some land. They're also fighting on other sides, maybe with a bit less success than going towards the west. They got to get through these crabs if they want to make it over there. Here we go, they're taking over some land. And up here, the east has already made some distance into the north's land. They've taken over some areas already, and they're trying to do more. The north is doing their best to defend, but this is a massive, massive army in their land, and it looks like they've already used up most of their troops. Now, the south is attacking so quickly that they're actually taking out this land and making it uninhabitable in a lot of places. Here goes the last of the west. They were just really behind, and there they go, they're gone. Just these couple of ships left, and that's it. And the north did a good job also taking over the west, but the east is just taking them over, and there's not much they can do about it. They already used up most of their troops in the west, and the south and the east are going to war as well here, and it looks like the east is taking over this little peninsula from the south, but the south is bringing their troops back around, and we'll see what happens once their troops get involved. The north is still in the game. We'll see what happens. But I did make them spite each other, so they're going to attack fast here. Looks like the south was trying to take over this village, but they failed to do so. And here we go, the north and the south fighting viciously here, and they just have so many archers in this lineup here. Now the south obviously also has a massive army, even more massive than the east has, and they are just absolutely pummeling them. And it looks like they're trying to take over this area. They successfully did so, and I think they had to land those troops there on a boat to get over there because there's water in between here. And the north is almost out of commission over here. The east is just taking them over as the south is taking over the east over here. So the east is really fighting a two-front war. The north really isn't going to war too much with the south, and that's not because they're not at war, they just aren't really doing it. And that's probably because they don't have all that many troops in the first place. South trying to take over again here, and they killed all the civilians. They're all gone. That is one massive army the east just dropped off there. Looks like they're killing off all of the south's troops over here. It's not like the south has a small amount of troops here though, it's just such a large amount from the east. The south is definitely winning this war so far though. The north and the west are the big losers so far, even though the north actually seems to have taken back this patch over here from the south, and that's because the south moved all their armies away from there. Now the thing is, even though they're taking over these areas are very lightly populated, so they aren't all that important right now, but they are still populated, so them taking these areas over is still important. And now the south seems to be losing this war overall. They did just take an area back. We'll see what happens. They're just trying to fight on too many fronts at the same time, and the north came in here sneakily and took over these areas while they weren't watching. Look at this fight. Definitely looks like the east has a lot more troops here, but this is a big fight. Yeah, and you can see the north took over all this land, which is way larger than their land over at the northwest peninsula here, but it only translated to about 60 people. There just isn't very much population in these areas. It would be very easy for them them to quickly turn into a deserted area. That is one big army from the south going over here trying to take this land back over. Looks like they're succeeding. There they go. They took a bit back. And it looks like they're also trying to take over this village, though there really isn't much there to take it over. Looks like the civilians actually killed him. It was just one dude trying to take the whole thing over there, and the civilians killed him off. The north just got completely wiped off the map. They got taken over by the east. They are completely gone now. I think we know how this is gonna go at this point. The east has double the population the south does. Let's just speed this up, see what happens. The south is quickly losing ground. They are taking some back over here. They still have quite a large population, but taking this area back didn't really gain them any population, now did it? That means it's mostly uninhabited, and taking it over really doesn't mean much. There are just hundreds of troops on this peninsula here, and the reason there's hundreds is because they're attacking the king over here, and he is dead. South's population is quickly declining. The east population is quickly rising. Oh, look at that huge army. Let's turn on 5 times for the final moments. This army is larger than the amount of people that live in the south in the first place. The battle up here was so fierce that all the civilians died and there just are no more people here. And down here, they're getting taken over. And that's it. That is the battle for Skull Island. The East has won. Now, if you guys like this video, make certain to subscribe. I'm a fairly new channel. Thanks, guys. See ya.